If you're a coach or service business owner and you're running paid ads right now and they're not getting the results that you want, this video is for you because you're probably running the wrong campaign. I'm going to walk you through what numbers to hit and how to implement each of them this week. If you implement just one of these strategies effectively, you're going to get a flood of new clients. Paid ads is the best way to grow your business outside referrals, but we all know how unreliable referrals are. So about me, I have access to over 200 client ad accounts. And what that means is I'm seeing everything that's working right now in coaching and service businesses in terms of paid ads funnels. For the last 12 years, I've lived and breathed paid advertising, so I know exactly what is working. And just to top it all off, I've spent over $1 million of my own money on paid ads. So the 3 pillars of what you're going to learn today. Pillar 1, conversion events. These are webinars, challenges, or any type of event that you run. The beauty of this strategy, it gives a cold audience exposure to who you are, what you do, and the kind of results that you can get. This helps reduce the trust gap so your prospects know, like, and trust you. And it's probably my favorite. Pillar 2 is the lead magnet funnel. This is the simplest one to execute and get the best results with. Pillar 3 is a direct call funnel, and this is where most coaches and service business owners go wrong. If you can nail this, this is by far the most effective funnel. This will target the top 3% of in-market buyers. More about that later. All 3 of these pillars absolutely fucking print if they're done correctly. So let's get into conversion events. What I mean by that is webinars, challenges, or in-person events as well. This is the highest leverage play, and this is the most amount of money typically you can generate off any funnel. They have on the low end a 3 times return on ad spend, and I've seen up to a 15 return on ad spend on a challenge funnel. On a single webinar funnel, we've had up to a 9 times ROAS return on ad spend. So what that means is I put $1 in and got 9 out. The other stats on that, we average a 33% show rate on cold audiences, which is great. And we book anywhere from 20 to 50 calls every single webinar that we run. So this strategy is really underrated. I would say the top 1% of coaches are doing it, and even less on service businesses. I don't know if that's a too hard basket or they can't work out the logistics behind it, but once you nail it, it's very simple and easy to do. In the last 18 months in my program Success School, we have personally done over 26 webinars. So we've made all the mistakes and we can tell you what not to do in yours so you can print. So just to give you a bit of context, a webinar essentially is like this YouTube video that you're watching now. You just deliver it online. Typically it's going to be a bit longer than a 10 or 15 minute video. There's a whole bunch of things in there, but typically the structure of it is you're going to do an intro, then you're going to teach 3 things, and then you're going to do a pitch. You can pitch a product or you can pitch a call on that. If you think about a 3-day challenge, it's just a dragged out extended webinar where you're teaching more things. In terms of topics for this, you just want to think about the main problems that your ideal client has, and then you want to solve those problems. Usually topics names are a lot simpler than you think. I think most people overcomplicate what they are. So example for things I do, our best ever webinar was the fully booked formula. Also get clients now. You know, those names are so simple, they do hurt, and sometimes we tend to overcomplicate that. So if you're stuck on what to name your webinar, you just want to think about the outcome that your ideal client wants. It's not the process, it's not the problem they have right now, it's the outcome that they want. You need to nail that. If you've never run a webinar before and you don't know where to start, you just want to go to Claude and say, hey, I'm planning a webinar. What's the process I should follow? And then you want to ask guys like Russell Brunson, who have successfully been doing webinars basically since I've been born, are great people to look at in terms of webinar structures. Then you want to run your first webinar, take the transcript, put it back into Claude and say, here's the webinar, what can I improve? And it's an iteration process of getting 1% better every time you run it. We're at the stage right now where we're running webinars every single week, so we're iterating very fast. And that's okay if you're not going to do one a week, you can do one a month or one every 6 weeks, but you just want to get in the habit of getting better. The most important metric, in my opinion, for webinars is the show rate, and that's how many people are actually getting on live with you. This is the key to making sales on webinars. Average in industry right now, anywhere from 15 to 18% is considered good for a cold webinar. If you've got a warm webinar of like people on your Instagram, email list, etc., that could be much higher than that. Ours is averaging 33% across multiple continents, multiple languages, etc., because we have a really good follow-up process as soon as someone opts in for our webinar. But if your show-up rate is broken for webinars, nothing else matters in this funnel except fixing that one metric. The most common causes that your show-up rate is poor in a webinar is 1, your texts and emails are not frequent enough and you're not sending enough. Number 2, they don't provide any real value of what to expect on the webinar. And 3, you're not building trust by driving them to other content pieces that you have. Example, in every text and email that we send, we're driving them to YouTube or podcasts so they're getting familiar with the brand. And 4, the topic just sucks. So let's get into the ads. What should they actually look like? If you're spending under $1,000 a day, I want you to keep it very simple. I want you to film 3 talking head videos, and I'm going to give you the structure now. So hook, you want to call out who it's for and the result they're going to get. Example, are you a woman over 40 and want to lose 10 kilos? Question mark. And step 2, you're going to tell them about what is in the webinar. Benefits, features, and then a call to action. The call to action, I would suggest not giving anything away about the date and time so you can reuse the video for later webinars. A call to action on this is to secure your spot on the free training coming up, click the link below, and then they'll obviously go there from there.